Jimmy Fallon is a better talk show host than Jimmy Kimmel.
Obviously, all day long. Jimmy Kimmel.
Come on, I gotta fight for Kimmel here.
Gross.
Wow.
Matt Damon might be one of Hollywood's biggest stars, but off-screen, he's somehow even more entertaining. Whether he's roasting his closest friends, embarrassing himself on live television, or turning a simple interview into complete chaos, you never really know what's coming next.
I read somewhere that you're afraid of heights, and I thought that's not possible because I've seen you do too many cool stunts where it looked like you couldn't possibly be afraid of heights.
Yeah, I didn't know that I was afraid of heights till dinner with Tom Cruise, like years ago, after he did that thing out of the building.
Yeah.
Remember that dinner together? And so I kind of cornered him and I said, hey, tell me about this. Like, I'm afraid of heights. How did you do this thing? And he goes, oh, he really wanted to talk about it. He said, I've been dreaming of this shot for 15 years, of this sequence, and finally I had a chance to do it. And I goes, well, so how did it come to pass? And he goes, okay. So I go to the safety guy. I tell him this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna explain the whole gag to him.
Right.
The safety guy says, you can't do that. He goes, that's too dangerous. And I'm like, and he goes, so I get another safety guy.
But Matt doesn't need Tom Cruise around to keep his ego in check. His own daughter has been doing a pretty good job of that for years.
And my 16-year-old likes to give me a hard time, and she is very clear about not wanting to see anything that I'm in if she thinks it might be good. She'll watch anything she hears. Like if I get bad reviews in something, she's like, that's the one she wants to see.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There's one movie I did that's not very good, and it's called The Great Wall. And my daughter was talking to one of her friends, and she was talking about this movie. My dad did this movie, The Wall, and she kept calling it The Wall. And I was finally like, Isabella, that movie's called The Great Wall. And she was like, Dad, there is nothing great about that.
And if his daughter wasn't enough to keep him humble, complete strangers have managed to do it too. Because apparently, being one of the biggest movie stars on the planet still doesn't guarantee that people will recognize you or that they'll think you're worth all that much when they do.
The Bourne Ultimatum, so this would have been 2006. And my daughter was young. She was just a toddler, and we had her out in the park, and it was just Lucy, my wife, and my daughter, and me. And this young Spanish couple came kind of strolling down hand in hand, and they kind of looked over and saw me and kind of had an exchange, and then pulled out a camera and came over. And I kind of say to my, well, here we go, you know. I kind of come over, and the guy says to me, please, picture. And I said, no problem. And I went over to his wife, and I put my arm around her. And he looked at me kind of in the international way that a man looks at another man when he's got his arm around his wife. And I realized right away that he wanted me to take a picture of him. People who genuinely come up and say, hey, could I please have a picture or an autograph or whatever, and or take a picture with my kid, and yeah, I would never say no to anybody like that. And then there's a professional autograph set, right? Yeah. And they're trying to make a living. And I had this idea, so they show up, they've got like a stack of 100 or 200 pictures, and they will, and as long as you sign, they'll stay there.
They want you to sign as many as you possibly can.
Right, because they sell each one. Yeah. And so I've always had a really good rapport with those guys, and I'm always like, who's the most, I remember when I first started out, I was fascinated by these guys, and I'd go like, what's the best, if you could get one autograph, and I'm signing away, if you could get one autograph, what would it be? Elizabeth Taylor. It was, if I could get an Elizabeth Taylor. How much is Elizabeth Taylor worth? Well, she never signs, so she's worth, $5,000 if you could get a picture signed by her. And I'd, well, what am I worth? And they'd be like, $20. For the wardrobe and the hair and makeup, I had a wig that a pretty bad one that I'm wearing. It's like, it's kind of two-tone, and I got a kind of a fake nose because he didn't want any hard edges, because the character is an informant, but he is dishonest about all of his activities. So he's your narrator, but he's a very unreliable narrator.
Right. So you're telling me that was a wig, and you also had a prosthetic nose?
Prosthetic nose, and then I had some things to put in my cheeks to kind of plump them out a little
bit. Really?
I did worry about that. I couldn't really eat with the things in. But actually, we were in Decatur, Illinois, and every day after work, there were people who would come down to watch the filming, and I'd go and talk to them, and literally every day somebody would come up to me and say, "You are so much better looking in person than you are in the movie."
But there's one person who's been around long enough to see every version of Matt Damon. Ben Affleck has known him since they were kids, and somehow, growing up together only gave them more ways to mess with each other.
Did you ever get in any fights as a kid?
We had a snow day at school, so we would all meet in the Cambridge Common and play tackle football. I mouthed off to a kid that I knew, but he was like your height. He was like 6'6".
Right.
And I might have been 5'3" at the time. And I said something. I scored on him or something, and I don't know. I said something, but he came for me, and it was like this mountain of a guy came at me, and I was like, oh man. And it was right then that little 5'2" Ben Affleck tackled this dude off of me, like out of nowhere. I was like a junior, and he was like a freshman, and so that was the end of it. And the kid was reasonable, and he was like, all right, I'm not fighting. All right, well, let's play. But I remember that was like a big moment going like, this guy is like, he will put himself in a really bad spot for me. Like, this is a good friend.
And he will be Batman.
This is when you would have the lunches, these acting lunches.
Business lunches, yeah. We called them business lunches.
And you were like 14.
Yes. There were 2 cafeterias. We went to a very big high school. There were 3,000 kids. And it would be like, hey man, business lunch today? Yeah, I'll see you there at 12:30. And then we get there, and we get our cheeseburgers, and we'd sit down, and we wouldn't have anything to talk about. We didn't have anything. So, what's going on? Hi, I'm Matt Damon, and this is Ben Affleck.
Thank you.
A few moments later.
Maybe we could talk about some other fun stuff, like stories from the set of The Bourne Identity, or any of the other hit movies that I've been in.
Or we could talk about stories from the movie Argo, which won Best Picture. I mean, that's just what happened. I'm not.
Or we could talk about Good Will Hunting. We could talk about who did the bulk of the writing. Kind of answer that one.
Sure, that's a good idea. Or you could learn about things that are actually true, like how incredibly short Matt Damon is.
Or the fact that Ben's left eye twitches every time you say the word Gigli.
We don't know. Can we cut for a second? We're gonna do the Gigli thing.
I'm 5'10" and a half. I mean, if you take out Northern Europe, like, I'm way above the world average.
Okay, congratulations.
Turns out, even Oscar winners act like 12-year-olds around each other.
How do you like them apples? I don't like them apples. Well, what are we gonna do? I don't like the sound of them apples. Well, what are we gonna do?
Jackie.
Yeah?
Of course, there was one person Matt never seemed to run out of ways to mess with. And after years of fake feuds, surprise appearances, and completely derailing interviews, it became almost impossible to tell where the joke ended and the rivalry began.
Is it true you go on vacations with him?
Well, he turned up at my house in Australia.
Oh, he did?
Up to events.
Does he stay in your house when he
Unfortunately, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he's mine. They're cool.
Okay, no.
I'm on the show.
How does that even work?
Huh? Hacked into the system.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Martian.
I've been here for a really long time, Jimmy. Decades.
Yes, I know
learned
that.
a lot of stuff.
Go backstage and eat the duty potatoes that we made for you, okay? Yeah, all right. Now, you know what? Put up the screensaver. I didn't even order this horse. I don't know what it's doing here. We're doing the show right now. Can we get somebody to get the horse out of here?
I am here, baby.
What?
I'm on your show. I'm promoting a new movie. It's coming out July 17th.
Did you do this movie specifically so you could sneak into this room in a Trojan horse? That is the saddest thing I've ever heard. Nope. What a loser you are.
I did this movie so I could say that horse is a Trojan, which is something your dad should have used on his little wiener instead of having you.
As funny as Matt is when he's messing with other people, he's somehow even better when he's telling stories that should have stayed private.
So I was in the Venice Film Festival a few days ago, and evidently Brad Pitt had been doing interviews for Inglourious Bastards, and I guess somebody kept asking him when he was going to marry Angelina Jolie.
Right.
And he got so sick of the question, he finally said, you know, I'm going to marry Angelina when George Clooney marries his boyfriend. So it's 8 in the morning. This Italian journalist comes in and goes, Matt, is it true what the Brads say? And I have no idea what he's talking about, but, you know, of course I go, yeah, of course it's true. So I come back to New York. We arrive, it's one of those all-day flights. We arrive, go to sleep. I wake up in the morning, and I, like you, go to my computer and I check the internet. On CNN, it says, man strips for George Clooney at press conference. And it's a video, right? So I click on it, and apparently this guy stands up and says, George, you know, and he said, I mean, there's hundreds of people in the room, and George is kind of, yeah. He goes, I am a gay. And George is like, oh, okay. You know, and he goes, and you are gay.
Here we go. You auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club, true or false?
That's true. I was told that I was going to meet the head of Touchstone Pictures, and this was one of my first year in college, and so I went around my dormitory floor and said, me and my buddy Ben are going down to New York. We're taking the bus down this week, and we're going to meet the head of Touchstone Pictures. And this was how it was pitched to us by our little agent at the time. So now I had everybody on the dormitory floor in college getting all excited that I was going to meet the head of Touchstone Pictures. We got down there, and it turned out to be an audition for the Mickey Mouse Club. And so we get in there, and we're looking for the head of Touchstone Pictures, and the guy's asking us if we can sing and dance, you know? We're going, sing and dance? What are you talking about? Where's the head of Touchstone Pictures? So it's pretty embarrassing, because I got back to college, and everyone was asking me how, the head of Touchstone Pictures was, and I was going, he's good, he's a cool guy.
So what we're going to do is you'll be selling a product like they do on QVC. You won't know what it is, but the audience will.
Okay, great.
Yes. Are you proud to sell it?
Well, I am.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, some people use it more than once a day. Some people, some people use it once a week. I mean, it's just kind of, that's what's great about it is it's versatile and it's kind of very user-friendly.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you use it, does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel, how does it make you feel?
Relaxed.
Yeah. And your wife also, she loves it?
Well, that's who I heard about it from.
Yeah. All right. Then I think it's time you see that you've been selling.
I have no idea what
that your wife was so happy to tell you about.
And that, okay, yes.
For someone who's won an Oscar and spent decades at the top of Hollywood, Matt Damon has stayed surprisingly unchanged. And maybe that's exactly why these moments never stop being funny.
So we adopted this cat in Costa Rica about 10 years ago. He was living by himself in the jungle. He was fighting for his life every night. And we're staying at this Airbnb, and we start feeding the cat. And we were there for a month, and so by the end, we had to take the cat. Cut to, the cat ends up with a brain tumor. I take him to the animal hospital here, and I meet the cat neurologist. This is true. The dude's name is Chad. I could load him up on steroids. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I mean, I could give him like a bunch of steroids. And I go, are there long-term issues with that? And he goes, yeah. Massive long-term issues with that. But we could just see what happens. That was 2.5 years ago. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, good morning. He's like got muscles on muscles, you know what I mean? He looks great. He looks great. So that was my cat story, sorry.
Oh, that was lovely. That's nice.
Still with us.